COVID-19, world economy grinds to a halt. 12 Nigerian-based companies get bankers' committee support to produce drugs. And aviation giant Emirates halt services. Equities market suffers another week of losses as worries deepen about the impact of the novel coronavirus pandemic as Nigeria shuts airspace to foreign flights. This is Business Express coming to you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. The Monetary Policy Committee today began its second meeting for the year in what is viewed to be the most crucial for now as the coronavirus pandemic continues to affect economies globally. But let's go back to the Bankers Committee over the weekend in Lagos, where they gave full support to the policy measures amounting to over 3.5 trillion naira earlier announced by the CBN in response to the economic impact of the COVID-19 on Nigeria. Amaka Owo completes the story.
The meeting addressed ways of stemming the pains of the COVID-19 on the banking sector and the nation's economy. Governor Godwin Emefiele believes that injecting the sum of 3.5 trillion naira alongside supporting local pharmaceutical industries will ameliorate the impact of the COVID-19 on the health and economic sectors.
Many countries have or are planning to ban export of drugs and medical supplies from their countries. The committee has identified a few key local pharmaceutical companies who shall be granted naira and foreign exchange funding facilities to support procurement of raw materials and equipment required to exponentially increase local drug production in Nigeria.
The committee will further engage trade partners, correspondent banks, and other stakeholders to resolve a letter of credit and trade commitment.
We have a responsibility. We'll be dimensioning the size of all those commitments and obligations, and all those trade creditors and counterparties. I see this opportunity to say once again that they will be paid all their obligations.
The governor urged stakeholders in the banking sector to strive towards preserving confidence and financial stability during this period as against profit-making, while Nigerians, he said, should prioritize their import needs and source materials locally. The committee also deliberated on earlier policy measures by the Central Bank of Nigeria, including 1 trillion naira loan to boost local manufacturing, additional moratorium of 1 year on CBN intervention facilities, among others.
Adebi Oke is the program director, Silicon Base. He joins us to look at the place of technology in the transaction in the wake of coronavirus pandemic. Mr. Oke, good to have you on Business Express.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good, we have an intervention. Good enough, the central bank has been able to announce stimulus and was able to galvanize the bankers' committee to support local drug manufacturers. Is it timely?
I'm very, very happy with the development. It's quite impressive. I mean, it shows that they are rising to the occasion and trying to nip all the challenges that may come out of COVID-19 issue. They are trying to nip it in the bud because it's not just about dealing with the COVID-19 at the moment. There are quite a number of patients across the country. There are quite a lot of people with underlying situations and health situations that need help as well. So I think it's timely. It's a good development, and it's something in the right direction. But I wish that as a government, I mean, we have actually paid attention to all of this. And before now, in the last couple of years, they have forestalled quite a number of things. Of course, no one knew that this COVID-19 is going to come.
Okay, we'll get back to Mr. Okay the moment we're able to establish contact. Okay, good to have you back. Okay, with this effort, we've
Yes,
seen similar interventions by China, we've seen similar interventions by the United States of America. Would it also help economically? What would be the impact on the economy?
Yeah, okay. I believe once we have a healthy citizenry and we have people who can actually walk the streets of the country and who can go to work or work from home, as the case may be, as long as we are healthy, in this case, I think it will do a lot. The other part that needs to be done is just basically to see how people can be helped. People who will be out of job, people whose house rents will be due, people whose one bill or the other will be due to be paid. Government needs to actually pay attention to that as well, because the lockdown is just very fresh. We are just few days into it. In another 2 weeks to 1 month, it's going to be a grueling situation for quite a number of people. So I think government needs to pay attention to that as well and see how people can actually live their lives without so much burden or without so much disturbance. In terms of food security, drug is being taken care of now. In terms of people having some little money in their pocket, just like it's been done in the countries that you have mentioned. It's very important that government pay attention to all of this beyond the medication, beyond helping the pharmaceutical industries, beyond helping the banks and giving stimulus to those who are big enough. The masses need to be supported one way or the other. And this is the critical time to actually deliver on that.
Okay, with the impending lockdown limitations on social interactions, can we cope? Is our environment disposed to that compared to what's happening out there? Mr. Okay, did you get that? Okay.
That's going to be it's actually a huge challenge. People have been compelled to work from home. It's going to be difficult because the resources that are being used out there, I mean, other clients, we do not have all of those here. I mean, I can hear some state governments asking their workers to work from home. The truth is that how many of these workers have computers at home? How many of them have internet connectivity to their houses? How many of them have the skill sets to be able to work unsupervised and all of that? It's going to be challenging. I'm not sure we're prepared for that. The economy, apart from the stimulus and the injection, the CBN and the government is trying to achieve now, in terms of work output, I'm not sure people will be able to do much. In the private sector, for those organizations and their staffers that may be ready for that, it may work, for them. But in terms of government, I'm not sure of how much we can achieve in that regard because the infrastructure requirements, they are not there.
What do you think can be done as an immediate action, immediate step to ensure that we don't feel the impact of it this much? Particularly talking about the infrastructure that can be put in immediately for it to be that effective.
Now, the truth is that a lot of things that we've been doing as a country has actually emanated from some sort of fire brigade approach. And there are certain things fire brigade will not work for. Things will have to grind to a halt. If we have advanced economies out there that are actually grinding to a halt in most of their operations, and having it difficult to actually carry out the basic things they've always done. if we have them still struggling with their circumstance and struggling with their situation, there is a whole lot we're going to struggle with here. Basically, hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what we're using right now, we're basically using internet connection to actually get this program going at the moment.
Yeah.
I believe government should actually see how they can work with the technology organizations, work with the internet service providers to see how they can get this service to continue. No matter how many people are using this at the moment, wherever they may be at the moment within the country, government should see how internet connectivity can be sustainable, because it remains their only medium to reaching out to the public. It remains the only medium to passing out and disseminating information. It remains the only medium for the little communication that is going on between even the government agencies, parastatals, and ministries, those that have been requested to work from home. It remains the only medium for them to actually carry out their communication and carry out the little work they may be doing. So in terms of internet connectivity, government needs to make sure that it's available. In terms of power, to a large extent, government needs to make sure to intervene, because even the hospitals and the organizations that are taking care of the sick ones, should power run out, there is going to be a challenge. Would diesel be available for them to actually continue their operations is another question to ask. So government needs to make sure that certain essentials continue to be available, even if it's going to be no cost or at very little cost to the citizenry. Government needs to make sure that that is in place. Else, this is what is going to make country run around. God forbid that situation.
God really forbid that. Well, talking about the internet that is not that very effective, as well as the power infrastructure that we don't have, what other policies do you think government can put in place as an immediate step to ensure that this adjustment is not felt, the impact is not felt that much?
Yeah, other things that I think they can actually do is basically for the intergovernment agencies to come together as one. If there has not been handshake or effective handshake before now, this is the time they need to have that handshake. The Ministry of Power, the Ministry of Communications, Digital Economy, the Ministry of Health,
Well, this is part of the challenge we are talking about, getting to move on from where we've found ourselves. Internet connectivity, as it has been experienced, we hope it can only get better from there. Well, moving on, Nigerians have been stocking up their homes as concerns over the spread of the coronavirus continue to mount. Last night, Onige Fineface went to town to ascertain the level of panic buying in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Let's see what he came back with.
Well, thank you, studios. I'm here in one of the major shops in Abuja, in the central district of Abuja. It's late in the night. Customers are still out in their numbers shopping for what they seem the rainy days. Now, against some of the claims that people were making their shoppings just as a regular routine, these ones say they are out here to stock up for the days when they may not be able to go out as expected. I have one of them here who also share with me why he thinks it's so important for him to stock his place. Can you start by telling me your name, sir?
Okay, my name is Mohammed Sufyan. I'm a resident here in Abuja. Basically, like me and my brothers, we just came here just to stock up the house, just in case an order comes. Okay, to find nobody's allowed to go out anymore, so nobody will just be caught unaware. Basically, what we are here to just get is just basic amenities that we need in the house: foods, waters, hand sanitizers, nose masks, and maybe hand sanitizers and other stuff like that, so that maybe hungers won't, instead of the coronavirus getting us in the house, hunger won't eventually kill us in the house.
Really, I'm here because of the pandemic, COVID-19. You know, it's everywhere now and it's for real. So I don't know what will happen tomorrow. I need to stock my home.
My name is Nafiu Kabir Adam. I'm one of the customer care representative here at Central Area. That is my name.
So can you explain to me how your business has been so far, bearing in mind the fact that people are engaging in some kind of panic buying?
Yes, honestly, really, things change here. how we used to welcome our customers before and how we used to see them come in. This time around, having this coronavirus information, it's like people are panic, and the way they used to come is higher than how they used to come before.
So that's the situation here from Abuja.
Well, that is the situation in Abuja as of last night. We hope things will get better by the day. Now, it's good to have you back, Mr. OK. Mr. Adebi OK, if you can hear me. With eminent isolation,
Very well,
with eminent lockdown and the isolation, what would you say is the cost, and is it worth it?
The cost is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And if you ask me, is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. I think people need to stay at home. A healthy population is a wealthy population. The less spread that we have of this COVID-19, the better for everyone, of course. So already across the globe, they're already counting losses in trillions of dollars. I'm sure that for Nigeria, it won't be far from that as well. We already see what the exchange, the stories coming out from this exchange, what it's looking like already. So basically, for us to come out of this alive and come out of this healthy is the most important thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adebi. Okay, in as much as we were not able to have the much of you as we needed as a result of connectivity, it's been a pleasure, and we'll get to connect some other time. Well, moving on. So, how did the Nigerian stock market perform last week in the wake of COVID-19? Well, sell-offs in Dangote Cement and Nestle led the market down by 2.4% on the week. Let's get further details from Bosede Ebo.
Massive sell-offs have continued to characterize the Nigerian Stock Exchange owing to COVID-19 concerns. Despite gains recorded at the end of the week ended March 20th, the NSE All-Share Index and market capitalization posted weekly losses of 2.35% to end at 22,198.43 and 11.5 trillion naira. At a turnover of 2.8 billion shares worth 32.5 billion naira in 31,715 deals were traded by investors on the floor of the exchange. All other indices finished lower, with the exception of NSE Banking, NSE Insurance and NSE Oil and Gas, which appreciated by 0.29%, 2.80% and 0.22%, while the NSE ASM index closed flat. The financial services industry led the activity chart with 2.5 billion shares valued at 25.2 billion naira traded in 23,243 deals, followed by the conglomerate industry with 60.8 million shares worth 105.9 million naira. The third place was the services industry, with a turnover of 51.2 million shares worth 117.5 million naira in 350 deals. The top three equities were Zenith Bank PLC, Guaranty Trust Bank PLC, and FBN Holdings. They jointly accounted for 1.6 billion shares worth 21.2 billion naira. 15,121 units of exchange-traded products, ETPs, valued at 87.7 million naira were traded in the week in 7 deals, as well as 16,204 units of federal government bonds, valued at 19.1 million naira, traded in 8 deals. 35 equities appreciated in price during the week, 27 equities depreciated in price, while 101 equities remained unchanged.
Nigerian stocks bled Monday as sell-offs continued unabated at the close of Monday's session. The all-share index fell by 2.24% to 21,700.98 points. Market capitalization, on the other hand, dropped to 11.308 trillion naira. 464 million shares worth 3.865 billion naira traded in 5,888 deals. Banking stocks dominated activities, led by Zenith Bank, Guaranty Trust Bank, as well as FBN Holding. Moving on, U.S. stock futures surged into positive territory after the Federal Reserve unleashed unlimited stimulus plan to combat pandemic effects. Bosirable has an update of market performance around the globe.
Coronavirus pandemic has continued to take its toll on the global community and financial markets. Global markets started the first trading day in the week, 23rd March, mostly bearish, as countries around the world continue to wage battle against the virus. European market fell sharply in early trading. DAX depreciated by 4.60%, FTSE 100 4.64%, and CAC 40 also dropped 4.58%. Stocks in Asia also saw sharp drops as fears over the economic impact of COVID-19 continue to weigh heavily on investor sentiment. Nikkei topped 2.02%, while Shanghai Composite lost 3.11% and the Hang Seng Index also dropped 4.86%. U.S. stock futures dropped again as Wall Street waits on Washington to agree on an economic stimulus and rescue plan to caution blows from the virus outbreak. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures dropped more than 913 points. S&P 500 futures were off by 4.34%, and the Nasdaq Composite futures also declined by 3.79%. In Africa, most stocks were negative. Ghana's GSA Composite, South Africa's GSA Africa Top 40, Namibia's overall index, and Tunisia's Tunidex were negative, while Nairobi's all-share rose by 0.05%.
Global aviation giant Emirates Airlines Sunday announced its decision to temporarily suspend all passenger flights by 25th March. A statement by the airline says it was a painful but pragmatic move to help Emirates Group preserve business viability and secure jobs worldwide, avoiding cuts. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has announced an increase in trading surplus of 5.28 billion naira in its December 2019 operations compared to the 3.95 billion naira posted in November last year. This translates to an increase of about 34%. The corporation, in a statement by its Group General Manager, Public Affairs, Kenny Obaturi, noted that its downstream subsidiary, the Petroleum Products Marketing Company, PPMC, also posted 337.63 billion naira sales during the period under review. Oil prices are not improving as Russia accuses Gulf states for fueling price crash. Nigeria one-year currency forward on Monday recorded its biggest fall in more than 10 years. The derivative, which gives an indication of where the currency could trade in a year's time, fell 11.3% against the dollar. Let's see how the naira is faring alongside other major currencies. This is the point where we end this edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag BizX. Remember to intermittently wash your hands with soap and running water as the world battles COVID-19. Be safe out there. Business Express returns Wednesday. I am Benny Adams saying keep thinking and doing business despite COVID-19 threat.